So this is Winona Ryder frantically looking for answers, and I can't help but feel like I've seen her play this character before. Gone in the Night. So this is a fairly new mystery thriller movie, and I really enjoyed how they fed the information to you in this one. Obviously, with the nature of a mystery movie, I can't go through it, beat by beat without spoiling things. So this movie centres around two couples in it. You've got Winona Ryder and her man, Max and Kath. They've booked a lovely weekend away. However, when they get there, they realise that this little cabin's been double booked, and this is where we're introduced into Greta and Al. So given that it's taken them hours to get here, it's dark, it's the middle of night, they decide to spend the night and just kind of double up. The movie feeds us just a little bit of information here and there around Max and Kath's relationship. Where Kath is playing the serious role, she's clearly the more adult one in the relationship, whereas Max feels like he's still holding on to his youth, he just wants to party, have a good time. He's still got that kid in him, whereas Kath has lost that. The start of this movie when they're in the cabin, there's a lot of this kind of one-upping each other. They keep quoting, is it too much adventure for you? When they want to take it to the next level and just do something new and have a new experience.
Seriously?
Yeah, unless it's too much adventure for you.
Now I get that's meant to be really fun, but I can't help but feel like it is a little bit toxic in a relationship. It's not meant to be toxic here, but it does feel that way. Kind of like forcing a partner into something they clearly don't want to do and they're uncomfortable with. Coming out your comfort zone's one thing, but here it just felt a little forced. Greta and Al, we don't learn too much about them. Certainly not from the beginning of the movie anyway, and I don't really want to go into their characters. But what I will say is, they're the younger couple. They're a little off. And also, I was waiting for this to be revealed in the movie and it wasn't. Why have they got the same jacket here? It felt like this might have been a uniform, a costume, hell, a 2-for-1 deal somewhere. It looks like the costume designer had like a last minute rush out to the shop to get them jackets, and this is all they could do. Doesn't take you out the movie by any means, but it just feels too neat. So now that they've decided to stay the night, they start to play a couple of games in the cabin now. One of them's one of these kind of romantic, kind of sexual games meant to be played by couples on a date night. Now, I don't want to go into the sexiness too much, but there's some serious elbow action in this movie. Now, once the night is past and there's been a wonderful time gaming and elbow licking, Kath wakes up and it's herself alone in the cabin. Max is gone, the other couple are away, she doesn't really know what's going on. So she goes out hunting for them. She goes out into the woods and finds Al, and that's when he lets her know that Greta has fucked off as well. Not just fucked off, they've kind of coupled up and fucked off together. Now, it's kind of early doors for Max and Kath, been a year. Now, I don't know what your relationship experiences are like, but doesn't feel too early doors. Her reaction to the situation feels like they've been dating for like a week or two, but it's been a year. You'd expect it to land just a little bit more than that. So this is where the movie then takes form, and Kath is just looking to find out where Max is and what's happened to her. She wants to move on, it's quite clear, but that question is still in the back of her head and she needs to know what happened to Max. If he left with Greta or where he is now. And that's what I mean by the relationship was a little bit longer than I feel like it should have been written for. Surely after a year, you're pretty entwined in each other's lives. Like to a degree. Fair enough you're not living together. Friend groups or places you would go become quite common. Things like that. She has a real struggle finding them, and it's not like they show her going to their local places. One of the first steps she does, and I fully appreciate this, she goes to the cabin owner and just wants to get information on the other couple. She wants to get a little bit more on Greta. She claims that she'd left a book there. If you're going to phone the cabin owner with a lie, practice your lie first. She calls him, and then the moment he just challenges it slightly, saying that he'll pick up the book, she just folds and crumbles and does not know what to say. And this cabin owner, Nicholas, he then becomes quite a main part of this movie. You've got Kath and Nicholas looking for Max, looking for this couple, and really just trying to get answers here. What I really enjoyed in this movie, though, was the way it drip-fed information. It didn't do big twists throughout the movies. It gave reveals. They twist a little bit, I'll give you that. But where it's set up, and I mean the characters say it, that they've fucked off together and they're sleeping together now within the sake of a night. So your head is on this whole cheating narrative. With these little reveals, and they only come in a matter of minutes, they make you question the movie more. So whilst there's looking for answers, you're getting more questions throughout the movie. All of which are answered, I'm very glad to say. And what's even better is I feel like these small reveals, they recontextualise things that have already taken place. And that is what I fucking love to see in a good movie like this. A twist is one thing, when it just flips a movie on its head and subverts you completely. But what makes a really good twist or good reveals is that if you were to rewatch it, knowing what you know, you can see the setup in the scenarios where you didn't notice it the first time around. I think it's a very clever detail. So the movie cuts between Kath now on the search for the information, and then cut into these small reveals that take place prior to when they went to the cabin. All I'll say is characters might be a little bit more connected than you first think. Now her and Nicholas I think are great here. Nicholas has got some some illness and now he's dying. The conversations they have are really quite deep because he's talking about the kind of the end of his life, where he wants to be and what he's done. And it's quite clear that Kath is lost that spark for fun. She's starting to find it again slowly but surely. And one of the things the movie keeps drip feeding you, I'm not sure if this was necessary, but it shows you this. Shows you a few times. It's always from the same angle. It's just slowly pushing in on it. Not only are you wondering what the bigger story is here, because the characters are a little bit more involved and have overlapped already in the story, but you want to know what this is it's showing you because it's not clear. Now, I don't want you to think that when it's jumping around it can take you out the movie. It's incredibly easy to follow. I feel like they come in at the right times to keep the pacing up. It's not like the movie's hitting a dull and needs to re-inject a little bit of thriller into it or a little bit of mystery. They've just picked the right times to give you just the right amount of information. You know, it's feeding you breadcrumbs all the way to the bigger reveal. You know, as opposed to getting to the end of the movie, showing you what's happened, then had a character just explain it to you. Part of it here though, Kath is a florist, and so when she goes to meet Nicholas at some point, she gives him an avocado tree. The avocado tree lives for 15 years before it would see an avocado. Did you forget he's fucking dying? I guess she's trying to be nice, but if that were me, and I told you I was dying and you gave me something that I'll never see exist, it feels a little bit like a backhand. Just a little bit. What will say is, I did not expect what was going to be the situation here be the situation. There's the reveals, but there's also still that twist that I did not see. However, in hindsight, I probably would have caught on to it on a rewatch. That is why I like this movie. What would I be saying for Gone in the Night? If you're wanting a good mystery thriller, it leans more mystery than thriller, I'll give you that. It's maybe like 70-30 here going towards mystery. Make time for Gone in the Night. It's a solid movie. It will have you guessing throughout the movie. It will keep feeding you questions and then answering them all for you towards the end of the movie. And not just in some big exposition dump. They are answered along the way. Thought the acting was great. Winona Ryder, as usual, is just searching for answers. She's clearly good at it at this point. Of course, Winona and Nicholas, they're the ones you're with for most of the movie, so not only have they got the most time to shine, but you can connect to them more. They are the standouts here. I thought our man Max, when we see him, he's really good. He's quite likeable as well. And as for the couple here, Greta and Al, they've got their own power dynamic, shall we say. Al, though, is just awkward for the sake of awkward. Like, he just feels creepy. I would have preferred just a little bit more subtlety off of Al, and that would have just taken that movie up an extra peg for me. Have you seen Gone in the Night? If you have, let me know what you thought down below if we agree or disagree. And if you are new, please consider hitting subscribe. Not only does it help the channel, but it lets you know whenever I release something new. And as always, thank you so much for watching.